Wow, man. We're here. We're here. Central Coast Mariners 1, Adelaide United 3. Adelaide go through to the next round of the final series, and Mariners' dream season is officially over, which is hard to think, man. I mean, especially how we rounded out the regular season and heading into this final series with so much confidence. But I mean, overall, if I just had to give my overall thoughts, we certainly weren't playing at our best today. That's the bottom line for me. We weren't playing at our best. There were some individual performances from the Mariners that were superb. There were some individual performances that were quite poor from the Mariners' point of view. And credit to Adelaide. I thought Adelaide, I mean, fantastic when you look at the fact how they were able to take their chances going forward, most of their chances going forward. I mean, they ended up scoring 3 goals by the end and defended resolutely for so much of the game, of course, bar that goal they conceded. But yeah, man, I'm reading in the chat here on YouTube. Falcon says heartbreaking, and that sums it up. I mean, this such overall just such like I feel an overwhelming sense of pride. You know, such a young squad. Nick Montgomery's first season in charge. It's a massive achievement to make it this far, man. And look, we're riding high on confidence after the way we finished the season. But Adelaide away is always going to be a tough game. Always going to be a tough game. What are we saying in the chat? Unlucky, unlucky, unlucky. Everyone's saying unlucky. Appreciate it. Oh, mate. That's right. There's always next season. And that's the thing. And it's not just, I know that's a cliche, but the saying is there's always next season means more so now than it usually does. I mean, this young side, I do want to talk about some of the individual players who I thought performed so well tonight. And you think of Max Ballard. I mean, just worked so hard, winning so much of the ball, setting up a lot of the play, assisted the goal for the Mariners. I mean, how good was that little play by Max Ballard? I thought he was Mariners' best player tonight by far. When you look at some of the other players on the park for the Mariners, Lewis Miller, we know what Lewis Miller does. Lewis Miller does what Lewis Miller does. I thought Benny was uncharacteristically pretty quiet. I thought Harry Steele was a bit off the pace. And of course, Cameron Windust. Unfortunately, that first goal for Adelaide in that first half, Cameron Windust, I mean, it goes down to him and his mistake missing that ball. And credit to, if you give someone like Craig Goodwin, who's arguably been the best player in the competition, a chance like that, he's gonna tuck it home. He's gonna tuck it home. Second half, though, look, I was optimistic knowing the subs that we'd had. I was surprised to see Kowal brought on so early. I thought maybe Nikolai Muller would have been brought on for Sai Goddard, but Kowal injected straight away on the 45th minute. And he brought a little bit of life, but still it wasn't enough. But still with the subs that were coming on, I was like, we've got Hatchie coming on. It was a shame that we didn't have Maresh, but Nisbet coming on as well. Stormy, so good to see Storm grab that goal. And from there was so much excitement, man. I thought, man, we could do this. Could this be another miraculous Mariners comeback? But it wasn't to be, dude. And Bernardo sealing it at the end. And probably the low light, probably the worst moment of Mark Birigitti's season to concede that goal at the end. I mean, no deflection at all. Completely wrong-footed. What else are we saying in the chat here? Jacob did well. Jacob Farrell did well, in my opinion, says Optical. He was decent. Again, we have to give credit to such a tough game in another state for so many of these young guys. All these guys are just teenagers. We can't forget, this is a team of teenagers. And we've made it this far as well. Fortnite says, I'm an Adelaide fan, but Farrell was excellent for you guys. And Kalolo played well. Interesting. I was just talking about Benny and Kalolo. I thought he was a little bit quiet today. I think we just expect so much. And even Jason Cummings probably didn't get himself on the ball as much as he would have liked. Arenya started, but he seemed a little bit off it as well. There was just another day. You know, maybe if we had the home game, it might have been a different story. But you know, Adelaide getting that first half goal, and that was crucial. That was crucial in the end. Wasn't it? Really, really tough. I'm seeing some more comments coming in. Sorry for the loss. Deserved better. Yeah, man. Again, and that's the thing. I'm not filled with there wasn't too much controversy in that game for me. There wasn't too many points of drama. To me, it was a pretty fun game to watch. It was a fair game, and I honestly fair credit to Adelaide for winning that game and holding on defensively, taking their chances, and we look to the future now for Central Coast, and I'm so excited for the future. The number of young players that we have coming through that have performed so well this season and that are just going to keep getting better. And Nick Montgomery, who has learnt so much in his first year as a senior head coach. It's yeah, it really, really is something. It really, really is something seeing what the Mariners have achieved. But Adelaide United go through, of course, and they'll be taking on Melbourne City in the semi-finals. Look, I've become a neutral from here on out. My Mariners not involved in the competition anymore. So can't wait for these semi-finals, man. So we got Victory Western. That's the first legs of Tuesday night, and then we got Adelaide City. The first leg of that game's on Wednesday night, and then the return legs, the second legs on the following weekend. So, mate, oh, dude, it's a bit of a weird one though. It's a bit of a weird one. Like I'm not overly like upset or anything. You know what I mean? I'm not like overly It's a funny one. It's a funny one. Oh, mate. It was a good crowd. Yeah. That's right. Yeah. Credit to Adelaide. Of course, that whole fast stand's been worked on. Construction going on for the whole season. Adelaide fans, man, they always make so much noise. You hear it over the broadcast. Hey. Santiago says Nick Montgomery has to take responsibility today. I understand that the Mariners are a team that gives youngsters the chances, but in finals you need experienced players. Nisbet, Muller, and Rue. It's an interesting point. It's a fair point you raise there, Santiago. I think it's interesting looking at the selections and Ruan Tongic, how fit Ruan Tongic was. I mean, Cam Windus. Cam Windus had a great game last week, and I think that contributed greatly to the reason why he started tonight. So look, like I don't blame Monty for his team selection. He went for the team that performed so well last week against Newcastle. But it is a fair point. I mean, Nikolai Muller. I wanted Muller to come on a halftime. I wanted him injected into the game because we know what Nikolai can do. And maybe leave Garen Kowal for a little bit later. As a sort of a late impact sub because he knows how to change a game when he make an instant impact. You know what I mean? Good game by Central Coast Mariners, says Aussie Fitness. It's interesting. I'm seeing a lot of fairly positive reactions to the Mariners' performance as well. Yeah, guys, I appreciate all the messages saying unlucky and sorry for the loss and all that. I appreciate it a lot. So, yeah, man. Jaden says 2 years in a row out in the first round. I mean, again, two years in a row punching way above our weight, though, considering with the squad we have, the budget, just the playing squad that we have, to get to finals is massive. But it is disappointing now, and that's going to be one of the questions heading into next season for the Mariners. It'll be interesting to see who sticks around and what sort of squad we have heading into next season. Like, it's going to be in the back of the minds of fans and the players and the staff that now we've had 2 consecutive seasons finishing in finals. So there is now a precedent for the Mariners. The 2 consecutive seasons they've finished in finals. So it'll be interesting to see not only where people predict Mariners to finish next season, but also keeping in mind that when we have gotten into the finals, we seem to struggle now to make it past that first round. And I wonder what it is. It almost felt pretty similar to the MacArthur game last time around, where we were all right. Like, it wasn't a bad performance, but in attack we weren't quite clicking as we have in previous games as well. Got a new owner. Thoughts on Richard Peel? I think it's fantastic. From what we've heard from Richard. It sounds very exciting, and he's very optimistic about the future of the club. So, as a Mariners fan, I'm happy with Richard Peel coming into the club, man. Keeper positioning was dodgy. I agree. I mean, the third goal. I mean, that was how many mistakes has Mark Burigidi made this season? Any? All right. How many mistakes has he made? And that was very uncharacteristic. It was a very bizarre one. It was a very, very bizarre one. Fortnite says, why was Yengi so selfish on the ball tonight? Actually, speaking of Adelaide United and their performance, I thought Cassini Yengi was actually phenomenal tonight. I thought Yengi was a beast tonight. And just gave Mariners defenders no time. He was superb. Craig Goodwin, class as always. Those midfielders working hard. And credit in defense as well. I mean, like young Alex Popovich, Mikael Jakobsen coming back. I'm very curious to see how Adelaide go against Melbourne City in the semis now. Because, look, City, rightly so, will be favourites of the reigning champions. But Adelaide have shown time and time again this season they have the potential to really show up and put in solid performances. And they've improved heaps in defence. I think that's the thing that we have to highlight for Adelaide in their point of view. We know they're attacking, their ability in attack, they're dangerous in attack. But they've improved in defence, especially in the last few weeks, keeping some clean sheets. Oh, mate. Con says can't blame Beers for the third goal. His vision is blocked. That's probably a fair factor. I mean, I think it was Rolsey and Windus were trying to get in the road there. That was probably a fair point as well. Luke says, score first, you win. Seems to be the case for the league nowadays. It's a bit like that. We saw it last night, the elimination final between Western and Wellington Phoenix. But I think in these final games, it goes a long way. It does go a long way. But it's going to make these two leg semis really interesting, because regardless of the results that we see midweek in the first legs, anything can happen in Melbourne in the second legs. Oh, mate. Vid says, so heartbroken. Haven't felt like this in a while. Look, I feel for the lads more than anything. Honestly, I just feel for the lads, because we know how hard they've worked. These young players under Nick Montgomery working so hard, and such a tough season with so much adversity with the COVID breaks. Obviously, every club has dealt with that, and some tough games. Mariners, the first team this season to travel away to Wellington, get a big result there. So many highlights from this season if you're a Mariners fan, man. So many highlights and so many admirable performances, dude. Yeah, man. Vid says, thank you, Lockie, for covering this whole season. Appreciate you. Thanks, man. Thanks. Appreciate it. And it's been a whole lot of fun. And we're certainly not done. We'll be covering plenty of content throughout the rest of the final series. There's still plenty of action to come. So there's a lot going on. There's a lot going on at the moment. But guys, I mean, I don't have anything else to say. I appreciate you guys tuning in. Hit like on this if you guys want to show your support to the channel. It helps me out a whole lot. And I'll plenty more content, as I just mentioned, coming across the next couple of weeks to cover this final series. So I'm a neutral from here on out. Of course, Mariners are hard as always, but a neutral from here on out. Excited for the rest of this final series. Guys, thanks so much for tuning in. We look ahead to next season. We keep our heads held high. And guys, I'll catch you next one. My name is Lockie. This is Coastwood Football. Cheers.